Please be seated. Well, we're here today to celebrate the love that Rosemary and Terence have for each other and to give social recognition to their decision to accept each other totally and to share their lives. Okay? Rosemary, do you take Terence to be your lawful husband? Will you love him, comfort him, honor and keep him in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, keep only unto him?
I will.
With this ring, the token and pledge of the vows made between us, I thee wed.
I've travelled all over the world, lived through famine, flood, and fire. Then I found you.
This valley was all the life I ever wanted, until you came. Now you're my life, and we can travel on together.
You have agreed to join into lawful marriage in the presence of these witnesses, and with the giving and receiving of rings, I now declare you to be husband and wife. May you retain the strength you will need to keep the promises you've made. And may your home bring joy to your family and your friends. Oh, I think you should kiss.
Oh, filthy.
Billy, you don't say things like that in church.
Well, we're not in church.
Can't take you anywhere.
Nobody's asked you to.
Come, put it back.
No, please, just put it on.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
But tell us, we're dying to know, when did he pop the question?
Well, if you must know, he took advantage of me at a weak moment.
Oh,
the man's incorrigible.
Look at Bernard's me at a weak moment. The woman's encouraging.
oh, get out.
Who would have thought, eh?
I know. But I've been the soul of discretion for many years.
Hey, it's about time, too.
Well, first you come back for the centenary, now for the wedding. Making a bit of a habit of it, aren't you?
Well, you know, there's only one thing I keep coming back for, Dad.
Harry. Yeah. Keys to the clinic. Oh, we're going to build an empire.
Down, boy.
Oh, here we go. Hey, don't you get any ideas? All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Did you get the message? It's goodbye to the medics, friends and patients of a country practice, because that was the last in the series.
HTV's the place to be weekdays at 5:30. Monday, Sue King is back with a new series of Garden Calendar.
I'll be back at 5:30 on Tuesdays with a brand new series of Can You Keep a Secret?
Live and local, Wednesdays at 5:30.
It's a pleasure, guys. Myself, Dave Mason, and the new woman in my life,
Jill Impey.
And on Fridays, a new day and time for Sports Week, the best sports magazine show in the West. A new look 5:30, followed by HTV News at 6 o'clock. Your regional hour from next week on HTV.
So it's all changed next week, and that means next, for the last time, we join John Suchet for the ITN Early Evening News.
Jacobs, cracking whatever you put on them.
QuickFit's mega price drive is driving down prices on over 1 million tyres and exhausts. So drive down to QuickFit's mega price drive.
You're always looking for ways to improve the appearance of your wrinkles. So Rock has added twice as much retinol to Retinol Concentré Pur All-Night Treatment. Visibly reducing fine lines in 4 weeks. Retinol Concentré Pur from Rock. We keep our promises.
Itchy, flaky scalp. T-Gel Anti-Dandruff clears even the most stubborn dandruff. T-Gel Anti-Dandruff Shampoo from Neutrogena.
Your lives depend on them, and times have changed. Britain's worst roads are diabolical. Tonight at 9 on ITV.
In tonight's HTV News, women in Bath are being warned not to walk alone at night for fear a serial rapist may strike again. And it's Bond, James Bond, on location in Wiltshire for his next big film. Join us at 6:30.
From the studios of ITN, the Early Evening News with John Suchet.
Good evening. The E. coli outbreak got worse today with 2 more children taken to hospital. That means 19 people are now affected, some with kidney problems. Another 8 have the symptoms. Some of the victims are in isolation. Health officials at the scene of the outbreak in Cumbria fear the infection could spread even further. Sue Saville reports.
This is the source of the E. coli food poisoning outbreak. Scales Farm at Brigham near Cockermouth produces milk for 300 households in the area. Farmer William Thompson won't comment on the scare. 2 environmental health orders have been served on his farm to stop production here and enable his milk to be pasteurised elsewhere. Elsie Ferguson's husband is one of the E. coli victims.
I was absolutely stunned. You just, you don't think of these things. And it's such a frightening word in this day and age when they say, you know, E. coli. But I felt much happier after seeing him yesterday.
The fear in this community is that the E. coli outbreak here could prove fatal, like one in Lanarkshire 2 years ago when 21 people died.
It's a serious outbreak. This is an infection that causes immense public concern and anxiety after the outbreak in Lanarkshire. But as it stands currently in Cumbria, I don't think we're facing something of those proportions, but we're taking it very seriously indeed.
Children at Brigham Primary School have found personal hygiene now included in their lessons and prayers.
Help me to remember to look after myself by keeping clean and remembering to wash my hands all the time. Amen. Amen. They do have a good understanding of what germs are and how they're passed on. I mean, if you don't explain properly to a child, then they might wonder about the reason for your instructions.
At all the schools in the area, the issue now is how to contain the E. coli outbreak, hoping no more cases develop. Sue Saville, ITN, Brigham in Cumbria.
Sue, what's the latest on those who are affected?
Well, this afternoon, John, we've heard that one more case is suspected. Of those who are still in hospital, 12 are in Whitehaven, 6 adults, 6 children. One of the adults is said to be poorly, the others are stable. 3 other children have been taken over to Newcastle Royal Infirmary, and at least one of them is having dialysis for kidney problems.
And Sue, what's being done to contain this outbreak?
Well, we saw that at the farm measures are being taken. The milk has been confiscated from there. Scientists are now looking at the process with the pasteurisation. We saw too about the health campaign in the schools and in the whole community here. There's also concern about the incubation process, because with E. coli, the bacterium, it can take 1 to 6 days to incubate. There could still be more cases, and people can pass the bacterium and the infection between themselves without actually showing symptoms. So the health authority has been telling us this afternoon they're looking at all the measures they can to make sure they contain this and it doesn't happen again.
Thank you, Sue. Next on the early evening news, trade war, Madeleine Albright flies in for an emergency summit. Lord Denning, the People's Judge, dies at the age of 100. And one small step nearer to the rocket man's dream. The US Secretary of State, Madeleine Albright, is due to fly into Britain tomorrow for emergency talks with Robin Cook over the banana dispute. The move is the latest twist in a row which could lead to a full-scale transatlantic trade war. Joe Andrews reports.
The banana row involves thousands of jobs in Britain and in the Caribbean and is testing the normally close relationship between Britain and America. America wants Europe to stop giving preferences to bananas produced by the former French and British colonies in the Caribbean, and lift quotas on cheaper South American bananas produced by companies that pump a great deal of money into American politics.
We're talking about Caribbean islands which can't do anything else except grow bananas. We're talking about the United States where no bananas are grown in continental United States. And we're talking about islands which, if they are not allowed to grow bananas, in fact, will probably become drug havens.
The US now wants to impose big duties on Scottish cashmere, amongst other things, taking the money in advance of the international ruling on this next month.
Well, we greatly regret that the situation has come to this point. At the same time, the issue really is not about cashmere or bananas. It's about playing by the rules.
Tony Blair was on the phone to Bill Clinton last night to discuss this. Again shortly to try to sort it out. But it looks as though it's going to be a real test of their friendship. Joe Andrews, ITN, Westminster.
Lord Denning, the People's Judge and probably the best-known judge of the century, died today just a few weeks after his 100th birthday. The former Master of the Rolls was one of the most respected figures of his time. Tim Wilcox looks back at his life.
Brilliant, yet down-to-earth, Lord Denning was a magnificent but controversial giant of the legal world.
Most of you have heard my true record.
The man who never lost his Hampshire burr was for many the champion of the underdog and one of the greatest judges of all time.
You know what Shakespeare said? Oh, it's great to have a giant's strength, but it's tyrannous to use it like a giant.
He was a judge at the cutting edge of judicial inventiveness. Therefore, he was bound to be controversial. But when you look at the balance sheet of Lord Denning, my goodness me, the credit side is much higher than the debit side.
Born in 1899, Lord Denning was the son of a draper. After village, then grammar school, he took a triple first at Oxford.
I wanted to get on. Not interested in politics, but I could see that law, rather than commerce, law was a field in which I could get high. I wouldn't say how high.
He first made headlines in 1963 when he led the Profumo inquiry over the War Secretary's affair with Christine Keeler. As Master of the Rolls, he led from the front and disliked leaving things to Parliament. His unique personality and judgments make him one of the best-known judges of the 20th century. Tim Wilcox, ITN.
8 families accidentally named as police informants in the report into Stephen Lawrence's murder have asked to be rehoused. In the London area where Stephen died, one family has already moved out because they fear reprisals. 5 others are in the process of switching houses. 2 more have asked to be moved. A pensioner today told the Old Bailey how he saw 3 Jews shot dead by a policeman in Belarus who then pushed them into an open grave. The prosecution claimed that policeman was the former British Rail ticket collector Antony Savoniuk. Shuli Ghosh reports.
Grey-haired Alexandre Baglai, seen here in the middle, says he was just 12 years old when he saw the defendant kill 3 Jews during the Second World War. He was living in Demarchevo, a town under German occupation, where almost the entire Jewish population was wiped out by the Nazis. To this day, a memorial stands at the site of the massacre. 77-year-old Savoniuk was a local policeman at the time. He's accused of leading search and kill operations to eliminate Jews who escaped. In court, speaking through an interpreter, Alexandre Baglai told how, as a child, he and another boy were caught scavenging for clothes in the Jewish ghetto. Mr. Baglai said he and his friend had been marched by Savoniuk, whom he knew as Andrusha, to a site where a group of 3 Jews were standing by a freshly dug pit. Savoniuk had ordered the Jews to undress and then shot them one by one. The 2 boys were made to fill in the grave. Challenged about the reliability of his memory, Mr. Baglai said he remembered beautifully. Shuli Ghosh, ITN, at the Old Bailey.
Families of the 20 cable car victims killed in Italy by the American Air Force jet today reacted with anger and bewilderment to news that the American pilot was cleared. The plane, flown by US Marine Richard Ashby, sliced through cables in the Italian resort of Cavallese last year. James Mates reports.
The Italian Prime Minister marched into the White House this morning to make President Clinton fully aware of his views on this case. Public opinion in Italy is outraged. The families of the dead uncomprehending.
I cannot understand that the man who killed 20 people, and among which were my dad and my sister Mindy, that this man is not guilty.
I buried my husband a year ago. Today it was his 2nd funeral.
Her husband was among the 20 killed instantly when their ski gondola crashed into an Italian mountainside just over a year ago. The cable had been cut by a US Marine aircraft flying too fast and too low. But the court-martial was told the pilot's altimeter had malfunctioned and the ski lift had not been marked on the map he was issued by the US authorities. For the captain, Richard Ashby, that was enough to convince a jury of fellow Marines that it was a tragic accident and not an act of deliberate recklessness.
It's been a tragedy for all involved, and my heart and my thoughts and prayers go out to the families of the victims of this tragedy.
Ashby could still be jailed for having obstructed justice during the investigation, but that would do little to assuage the anger in Europe. In Italy, there are renewed demands for the closure of US bases. Officials here are worried about damage that may be done to NATO. James Mates, ITN, in the United States.
Tony Blair warned today that the Scottish elections should be fought on policy and not national identity. He was speaking in Glasgow, where he said devolution was right for Scotland and right for Britain too. Here's our Scotland political correspondent, Harry Smith.
It was a stout defence of the Union, delivered to a special party conference in Glasgow and designed to send party activists out in fighting mood for the fierce battle that's developing with the nationalists. The Prime Minister listed a string of policy initiatives which he said had been good for Britain and good for Scotland, and in those he included devolution.
Our opponent's message is one that builds barriers instead of bridges. It's not a politics that can elevate. It's a politics that only divides and diminishes. So in these coming weeks of this campaign, what I say to you, be proud, be confident that we are on the right course for Scotland and for the whole of our country.
Both the SNP and Labour chose today to launch new policies on education. The Nationalists, though, poured scorn on the Prime Minister's contribution to the debate.
I'm tempted to say that the SNP should be subsidising Tony Blair's plane fares to Scotland because he's one of our most valuable assets. It's quite clear that most people in Scotland think he should keep his nose out of the Scottish elections.
But the Prime Minister's speech will help answer the critics who say Labour's campaign has been too negative, too dependent on bashing the Nats. And his supporters will point to the latest opinion poll, which shows Labour marginally ahead. Harry Smith, ITN, Glasgow.
Now, you might think Britain has been left behind in the space race, but one man is determined to catch up. Steve Bennett today took one small step, but a giant leap towards putting a person into space. Andrew Simmons reports.
Steve Bennett was once a technician working in a toothpaste factory, but now he's a rocket man.
Everything's okay.
And here's his latest creation, Tempest, about to be launched from the Lancashire coast. The rocket soared to 3,000 feet, all according to plan.
We've done it. We're another few inches closer to making our dream a reality.
That dream took a bad knock at the last attempt. Just less than a year ago on Dartmoor, everything went wrong. But this time, Mr. Bennett's invention came back down to Earth safely. The rocket man and his family believe that one day they'll put the first person into space in a homemade rocket. Andrew Simmons, ITN.
Motor racing world champion Mika Häkkinen kicked off the start of the Formula One season by walking away from a 100-mile-an-hour crash in Australia. During a practice session in Melbourne, he spun off the track and smashed into a wall. He emerged unscathed. 4 years ago, he nearly died in a crash in Adelaide. A reminder now of the changes to ITV News from Monday. I'll be joining Julia Somerville for the new look ITV lunchtime news at 12:30. Trevor MacDonald will present the new ITV half-hour evening news at 6:30. And Dermot Murnahan will be bringing you the new ITV nightly news at 11 o'clock. And on the final news at 10 tonight, a look back at the programme's finest moments from Norman Rees.
Always the search for exclusive coverage. News at 10 at Dawson's Field when Palestinian terrorists blew up 3 hijacked planes. Michael Brunson's first interview with Maggie Thatcher after her resignation. Trevor MacDonald meeting Saddam Hussein.
A deliberate and sustained assault on the old city.
Paul Davis, the only reporter at the siege of Dubrovnik.
On tonight's last News at 10, and that brings us to the end of the last early evening news. I've been in this seat for the last 7 years, and it's been a pleasure and a privilege bringing you the news at 5:40. I hope you'll join us all at our new times with our ITN bulletins on ITV next week. But for now, from me, from programme editor Phil Moger, and the entire early evening news team, for the last time on the early evening news, bye-bye.
Hello, good evening. Well, it's been a cold day everywhere, with eastern England bearing the brunt of a thoroughly wet day. Things should slowly improve there. But for all of us for the weekend, it's a cold one with some wintry showers around. The good news is we are expecting milder weather to push in from the southwest early next week, along with some cloud and rain. Now, our Met Weather satellite sequence shows clouds spiraling around the centre of the low in the North Sea, feeding showers down from the north, thicker areas of cloud there on the eastern side of the country, threatening rain, sleet and snow tonight as well as Saturday night. So as far as tonight's actual weather goes, we continue with scattered wintry showers around coastal areas, and then we've an area of sleet and snow pushing into Scotland and the north of England, down into the Midlands as well, with some small accumulation on those higher routes to watch out for. Some breaks in the cloud further south and west, and that indicates dipping temperatures, some frost and icy patches on those roads to watch out for tomorrow morning. So we go into tomorrow for the northeast as a grey start to the day, then brighter weather pushing down from the north. Basically, we're all in the same boat tomorrow. It's very much a case of a mixture of wintry showers as well as some sunny intervals. And those wintry showers not really amounting to anything very much at all. Now, temperatures are stuck at around the 7 mark or 45 tomorrow, feeling better in the east with lighter winds, but the winds becoming, well, touching gale force later on in the north there. A quick look at Sunday, and for Scotland and the north of England, dull, wet and windy all day, brighter weather further south, and then with the first sign of that milder weather pushing into the southwest later on. And that's all from me. Join me later if you can after the news at 10. Here's the weather summary.
Power, Jen. Power, whatever the weather.
In tonight's HTV News, women in Bath are being warned not to walk alone at night for fear a serial rapist may strike again. And, yes, it's Bond, James Bond, on location in Wiltshire for the next big blockbuster. The details on those stories and the rest of your day's news here on HTV at 6:30.
There's an early kick-off for West Match Plus. We're at the Memorial Stadium on Saturday for Bristol Rovers match with York City. We'll also have the best of Swindon Town's home match with promotion hopefuls Bolton Wanderers. Yes, it's Saturday tea time for West Match Plus. We're on air just after 5:15 this Saturday.
The race for Wembley is on. The chance of silverware and a place in Europe are at stake. Newcastle versus